Yo, yo.
Yo.
Welcome back to the Mark Hours podcast, the official podcast of YouTube. What's good with you, Chen?
Man, life is gorgeous. Life is beautiful. Life is amazing, man.
Why?
Man. We, me and my girl went ring shopping the other day.
Okay.
That was cool.
Did you feel scared?
No, I not really. I did a good amount of research.
Okay.
It was like a late night YouTube. I didn't know there was so many different parts to like rings and diamonds and.
That's if you get a custom one, sure.
But even still, like, you know, the clarity, the color, the cut. I finally know what VVS means. I hear it in all the rap songs. I'm like, oh.
They actually had I wanted to send you this article to where they said that it's probably better getting a lab diamond, as they say, because for the price it looks better. As it's some other things. I'll put the link in the description. I was like, oh, this is very interesting. But I got a pretty good deal for like the ring that I got my wife. So
yeah, we learned about carats, the difference between carats and diamonds, and carats and gold. So a lot of cool things I learned about jewelry in general, just going ring shopping. So that was cool.
Now this was going jewelry shopping for, of course, your lady. Do you think you will ever get into like jewelry outside of like for somebody else? Like I'm talking about for like yourself. Maybe like a diamond, a carat, a ring, or like a pinky ring, a necklace, an earring, maybe.
I'm not really into diamonds, so I'm probably not gonna do. I'm probably just gonna do a plain, maybe 10 carat,
gold band or something
14
like that.
carat gold band. I do want to buy more gold pieces.
Okay,
I definitely want more gold pieces, but
is gold like a Nigerian thing?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But it's just timeless. You can't.
That is true.
And you can always melt it down, sell it.
That'd be wild.
I'm not getting a real diamond.
Okay.
So if I get a diamond, anything, it's gonna be lab grown.
So
apparently
you basically say, if I ever see
value.
you with diamond, don't even pull out the diamond tester. You'd be like,
So funny thing about lab diamonds, the diamond tester works.
really?
It's a real diamond. It's a real diamond. It's just grown in the lab.
Hey.
So I think Maconian or whatever they call it, those are the fake ones. The ones that look rainbowish.
Oh, okay.
But
well, I'm happy. Any diamond but blood diamonds. You get what I'm saying? So I'm good with that. I think my wife diamond's a blood diamond, but we don't got to talk about that. But it was for a good price. So
yeah, don't tell your father-in-law that.
Well,
because that man's adopted.
Oh yeah, he definitely adopted your culture. I would say he's probably more Nigerian than you are.
All the time. He's Nigerian, Kenyan, Angolan,
no.
Somalian.
Listen, he said he's Igbo.
Oh, okay.
He said he traced back his
my brother.
He said he traced back his heritage, and he's Igbo.
All right. Well, we accept it, man. Chief Ochuku.
No, man, it's good that you went ring shopping. I think that's it's inspiring. You get what I'm saying?
Why?
No,
you're already married.
Not for me.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like you see somebody grow up, and then you're like, "Dang, you're going ring shopping. That's kind of crazy." You know, I'm inspired by your growth, brother.
You've done it.
I know I've done it, but you never done it. So I'm like, wow.
Okay, I appreciate it. Right.
Look at Chin. He going ring shopping.
All right, man.
I'm like, look at this. Was this always the plan, or hopefully like we didn't passive aggressively like pressure any of our friends to get married anytime soon? Like, cause we ain't.
I ain't worried about that.
Okay, no, I'm just talking about like.
Like, hey man, look, hey, look. I think marriage is a beautiful thing.
I've learned to adopt that saying.
Oh yeah, I think
because I always see marriage as just a like, okay, I'm gonna be married, but I really never really viewed it as like as it's an asset. I never really viewed it as there's actually some doors that won't be open unless I have a partner. You get what I'm saying? Like I just viewed it as like, well, I want kids, so in order for me to have kids, I gotta have a wife. So I never really viewed it as, I have someone that is like Team Wesley.
Yeah.
That's like really for me. You get what I'm saying? I was watching this masterclass on marriage on YouTube. Trust me, I am a YouTube kid, man. YouTube raised me on some things, right? And I think Kev on Stage Wife said it. She said, there's one thing I've learned that like she tells herself. She used like casino language. Like she said, you know how like when you go to Vegas, you bet on black. She said she learned in her marriage like you bet on Kevin on stage. Like she said, like it. Of course, they've been married for 20 years now. 20, I think a little bit over 20. And she said like you learn like, oh, you bet on him. Like I bet on my husband. I bet on what he say. I bet on his leadership. I bet on his business. I bet on his decisions. I bet on his advice. And she said it worked out good for her to where I think they about to do a vow renewal. And
Again?
No, this is their first vow renewal.
Oh, okay.
Because their wedding.
Oh, they did. They did.
At the wedding they did was at their church, and both of them are military kids. Both their fathers got deployed, so both their fathers wasn't at the wedding. So they're both alive. Both their parents still alive, and they want to do a vow renewal. For one, she said, when you first get married, you think you know what it means. I do, for richer, for poor, for better, for worse, sickness and health. But after 20 years of experience, it means different. And then she wants the give her father the honor of walking her down the aisle and things like that. So I'm happy for them. And guess what? I'm learning. I am not the type to touch the stove to know that it's hot. I look at people and I be like, okay, I'm gonna try to skip some courses because I learned some things. Like, okay, let me bet on my wife, and my wife bet on me. You know what I'm saying? It was so good. I watched it by myself. It was so good. I told my wife the next day. I was like,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
I know that's crazy, right? I'm about to die.
I was like, who? Oh wait, yeah, you're right.
I was like, I told my wife, I was like, you gotta watch this, and we gotta talk about this because it's such a good video.
I do want to actually switch. I had a topic in mind, but I kind of want to switch to this because
I didn't think you was going to expose your business. That's why.
I don't care. They don't even know who. But one thing I've been realizing, there's not a lot of like preparation for either couples or single people to be marriage material.
Okay.
Like one thing that me and my current girlfriend are doing, we're joining like groups in our church that are kind of more targeted towards married folks because there's nothing for like couples unless you're engaged to be married. There's nothing for couples to learn, okay, what does it take to be in a marriage? And so I was wondering, even in your marriage, like are there things or tools or courses that you guys have taken to like, okay, how are we going to do this thing, or are you guys just playing it by day by day?
Look, I feel like she was a good girlfriend. I was a good boyfriend. We just keep it simple. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing anything different as a husband that I was doing as a boyfriend. I cared about her. I care about it just as much. Just to give you a peek, like this is I think we only been married since October, and immediately, like probably like 2 months after we got married, she had to go get surgery, not emergency surgery, but just something to get fixed, her shoulder, right? So we're not doing what quote unquote the newlyweds quote unquote doing. We kind of like investing for the future, getting things fixed that needs to be fixed. You know, your shoulder, that bum shoulder that you have for years, get that fixed. You know what I mean? Getting credit fixed and things like that. So saving up for a house, just things like that. So there was nothing that prepared me for it, but I think it does help that her parents are still married. I think that plays a big part. My father, you know, he lost his wife back in 2004. So it just like I don't think it's as complicated as people make it out to be. I don't think there's like this phantom like line or this course that you have to take that's like masterclass or whatever of how to be marriage material. Now the thing, to your point, you always hear about wife material, husband material, but it's so vague that you can kind of put your own definition to it, but there's no sound definition to it. First of all, I think before you even start thinking about anybody else, you got to work on yourself. You got to have like, are you a man of integrity? Yeah, that's a big thing. You get what I'm saying? Are you a liar or are you a guy of integrity? Because if you go cheat yourself, you're going to cheat the person you with. You get what I'm saying? So there is no, in my opinion, no magic pill to where if there's no fundamentals that you need to learn for yourself that benefit you first, you're not just going to learn it for marriage. It got to benefit you first then it will benefit the other person.
I remember talking, and I shared this with the group. I remember talking to this lady who was in her 60s, maybe 50s.
That's very encouraging.
Recently divorced.
Whoa, that's not encouraging.
At the time. I mean, now it's been some years, but she was recently divorced. And she said towards the end of her marriage, they started going to couples therapy. And in couples therapy, they started learning all these tools, like how to communicate with each other, how to deal with each other's anger, certain trust or traumas that they both went through that kind of reveal certain things about themselves, but also reveal certain things about how they interact with each other.
Yeah.
But she said it was too late at that time. But if they have the tools and the knowledge that they gained through couples therapy in the beginning of their marriage, she feels like they probably would have had a beautiful marriage.
Maybe.
Not even save it, but just have a thriving marriage. Right?
Maybe.
And I feel like there's so many things that even maybe in society that we're more reactive than proactive. Like we wait till the problem shows up to deal with the problem. And a lot of times we don't know what the problem is. But
some problems you have to wait to see.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, for example, my lady, she's not a pessimistic girl. Yeah. What if she just, like, in year 10, she just become like a Debbie Downer? like, yo, what's wrong with you? You just hate life, don't you? So it's like some things you really can't prepare for unless like it really shows up in your face. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and so even in our health system, I mean, this is a big conversation in our health system where, a lot of our medical care or, our health care is really about what happens after you reach the diagnosis versus like how do you prevent the diagnosis. And I think it just perpetuates or permeates throughout the rest of our lives, especially marriage. And so it had me thinking like, okay, there's this thing that we're supposed to do for majority of our lives with somebody.
We hope, yeah.
And there's no real training grounds for this thing, except for the 2, 3, 4 months that you go through premarital counseling.
And even I heard some people say that's not unless you do it with a real counselor. They said don't do it at your church. That's basically what they said. They said if you do it at your church, they said let your pastor be your pastor. Don't let your pastor be your financial advisor, your counselor, your father. Your pastor,
it's a lot of pastors that are divorced. So,
so truth be told, you would actually benefit more from church if you let your pastor just be your pastor. And that's it. That's a good one. Anything else, now the lines could get blurred and now wires could get crossed, and now guess what? You're divorced. Okay, or just like you're just not gonna be happy.
One of those things like you hear this often. I'll like. Now you're competing with the pastor in your house, and then it's like you're saying one thing, but then your wife is saying, "But the pastor said."
I'm so happy I got a wife that didn't grow up in church, bro. She loved God. You love God? I love God. That's her. What's wrong with you? That is her worship song. She's not with the Israel New Breed type of stuff. She's like, you love God? I love God. What's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't think you love God. I was like, that's not a worship song, but he said, I love God.
You heard that new gospel? What's the gospel album? Donda.
Oh yeah, oh my God, there was a period where she was heavy on that Kanye Sunday service. Rain down. I was like, that's not. I said that's a remake. She said, I'm singing about God though. You love God? I love God. I'm like, all right, leave me alone, heathen. No, just some bad. Like, truth be told, the vow's gonna tell you what to prepare for in marriage. Like it tells you for rich or for poor. Like until you really, like you don't take it seriously until you really like, dang, you bad with money. I'm about to lose my house. That's when you gotta see, are you a man of integrity to stick to your vows? You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So it's like it go tell you for rich or for poor, for sickness and health, for better or for worse. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like those are the vows. Those are what to look forward to. Mm-hmm. I give you a perfect example of what I watched with this master class. So Kevin on stage said he's a dreamer, right? his wife Melissa is not a dreamer. She said we are literally on two different spectrums of viewing the world. And she said that Kevin on stage, he is literally like, you're rather with me 100% or you're 100% against me. That's just how he is. But to be successful as he is, you have to have that mindset.
Yeah.
Because what he was trying to do at that time, remember, being a comedian on social media, that wasn't a big... Now everybody doing it. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Especially since the content that he was doing, he was like church stuff. So he said with him, he can see the pot of gold, like the rainbow with the pot of gold. Mm-hmm. His wife is different. She's like, when I hear rainbow, I hear rain, because there won't be a rainbow without rain. Should we prepare for the rain? But he always made an enemy of that because that thinking wasn't his thinking. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until he said he matured in his marriage that he was like, oh,
we need that.
I need that. Mm-hmm. Because there is no rainbow without rain. Mm-hmm. So it's like me and Blair are different. You get what I'm saying? I'm a dreamer, but she's not so much of against my dreams. She's like, I'm betting on you. Yeah, I'm with you. But we just view the world differently because we're from two different landscapes. And I've learned off of other people's stories. I can't say I learned this off of my own experience, that not to make an enemy of her world, right? Because I don't want to go through that whole like learning. I'm like, oh, if I can learn your lesson, don't make an enemy of her world. See how her world can contribute to my world, because we're married. She got my name. You get what I'm saying? So even if she thinks something differently, I have to go, what is that? Perfect example. Our second channel.
It takes two.
You get what I'm saying?
Like, hey, man.
Listen, I told her I did not want to do this. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't see the benefit of it. I don't even watch these shows.
Yeah.
She said it will help your podcast because it would trickle down. And I'm like, okay, let's see. You get what I'm saying? And guess what? We growing. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So it's just those type of things to where it's like, hey, she's not my enemy. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Trust me, you would know if you have an enemy. You get what I'm saying? She's not your enemy. She just don't think the same. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, that, not to get all churchy, but that's something that the pastor today, the pastor's wife, who's also a pastor, preached about. Because I think for a lot of guys, we don't know what leadership looks like.
Not really.
But part of leadership is to take advice from your counsel, and who's the biggest advisor in your life?
It got to be.
It's your wife.
Exactly.
And so, she was talking about, the pastor's wife was talking about how, like, they went on vacation.
I like her.
Yeah, she cool.
Yeah, I like her. Because I never seen her until I saw that singles night thing. And even when I did see her, she'd come on, but she wouldn't say anything. or maybe she'd like say something for offering or something like that, like something real churchy or something like that. But this is the most I ever heard her talk just like regular. Chill. I was like, oh, she cool people.
Yeah, she cool.
Based on what I seen, I don't know her like that.
No, she cool. And one thing that made me really like bang with her and just the church in general, there was a lady, and this was when I was on the fence about the church I go to.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was this lady who said that when she got pregnant, she was going to two churches. She was going to the church I go to now, and she was going to the church of her parents. Her parents were deacons at the other church.
Deacon board.
And so when she got pregnant, the church of her parents made her come on the altar and ask for forgiveness. It's not funny.
No, it is funny.
I was just thinking.
Listen, I can laugh. I've been in church for over 20 plus years, okay?
But it really traumatized that lady. It did. It did. But when she came to the church I go to, the pastor's wife was like, "You're pregnant? Congratulations!" And then the woman, she just broke down and started crying. And it was out at wedlock, so it wasn't like she had a husband at the time.
Yeah.
And the pastor's wife was like looking at her like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "I thought I'm in sin, this, that, and third." Just crying about church stuff. And she's like, "A child is never a curse. It's like, yes, what you did might have been sin, but that has no bearing on the blessing of God.
What if you like ask for forgiveness? You still gonna be pregnant.
Yeah, I mean,
like you still gotta birth this baby. Of course, if it's
the Antichrist.
I'm no.
What you saying?
No, I'm just saying like this is like out of wedlock. If there's no abuse or anything that came through that, I'm just talking about like how adults be having sex. You get what I'm saying?
And it happens. So. But that's besides the point. But that's when I was like, oh, you know what? I bet with the church.
Mm-hmm.
But she was talking about how like her and her husband or the pastor went to vacation,
mm-hmm.
and there's this jet skis, and we talking about like I don't know where they went, but it was like one of those Caribbean, Mexico places.
Yeah,
and they wanted to go on jet skiing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to one of these things. It'd be right next to the resort. It's just a bunch of guys with a bunch of jet skis, and they just give you the keys. There's no tutorial.
Really?
They ain't trying to tell you. They just like, this is how you turn it on. This is how you stop. Don't go too fast. Don't flip the thing. But have fun. Ain't no like, okay, we're going to go around. I'm going to show you guys how
I'm about to say, I've never been jet ski before.
Nah, it's just, here's the keys. Go have fun. Don't flip the thing. And so her and her husband, they get on the jet ski, and they go off. At first, it's cool. The husband's trying to figure the thing out. But after like 2 minutes, he understands how it works.
Mm-hmm.
He starts going off.
Okay.
Twist and turn. And she's just like in the background, scared for her life.
Mm-hmm.
And he's having a whole bunch of fun. He's yelling. She made a joke like, he apparently made like a imaginary friend out there because he was chasing somebody. There was somebody who was chasing that out there. I don't know who, but she said when they got off, he was like, wasn't that so much fun? And she was like, no, that was terrible. And he was like, huh? You had fun? She's like, no. And she sat back and she's like, and that kind of reminds me of our marriage.
Oh my gosh. I ain't gonna hold you. I hate those type of talks.
He was like, wait, what?
Don't metaphor my marriage, please.
He was like, yes, I feel like, I've been in the backseat trusting you, but we just been going back and forth. You building up these churches. You have these wild visions. He's apparently he's a risk taker. Mm-hmm. He's building this church and it's wild. Hey, sometimes he's doing this. Sometimes he's doing that.
The zeal of my father's house has consumed me is what the Bible says.
And he's doing these things.
Yeah.
But for her, she's more like kind of like Kev on Stage Wife. It's like, this is scary. Like, I don't know, like, could we slow down? Like,
yeah. And once you're a visionary like that, your vision is so tunnel vision. You don't even hear, like, it just sounds like white noise, basically.
And the key part or the main point of it was like, there needs to be security in your leadership. Like, I want you to lead. I do not want to take the reins. Okay. Like, I do not want to start doing the jet ski thing. You do the jet ski thing, but make sure I'm okay. Just check, make sure like, hey, is everything good? Are you all having fun? And check my temperature. And even that, you could still do what you're doing, but just the fact that you're checking in on me makes me aware that I'm still around. And it was just a key point in me because I think I'm more, even in my relationship, I'm very like, let's go to Costa Rica next year.
Yeah, we just stayed for 3 months.
We just stayed for 3 months. And I said it. She didn't believe me. And I got tickets. And, she didn't really say anything until like maybe a month before we left for Costa Rica. And she said she was scared. I was like, you scared? I thought we was cool with it. And she was like, yeah, I don't know anything about Costa Rica. I don't know how long I just never did anything like this. And it was one of those moments where I realized for myself, like,
did you feel bad or basically that you was like, you're going to be fine?
Yeah, I knew she was going to. Like, I was a little bit more cautious. I would say that.
Okay.
I didn't feel bad. I'm paying for it. It's an amazing trip. Okay, but I was like, hey, do you have anything you need? Is there something that are everything okay with you? Is this a place good, suitable for you? I double checked the crime around the areas that we were staying with, just to ease her pain. And then when we was there, she had more fun than me.
Yeah.
She wanted to stay longer. But yeah, I think there's these things in marriage, or even just how to lead a marriage. We lack as men, or even just people, right?
No. You fact. I give you even more a suitable example for me. and then I should let you go. When I drive, I'm a pretty fast driver. When I say fast, I'm talking about like I'm not doing 100 miles per hour. But if the speed limit is 50, I'm not doing 50.
70.
80. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because I feel like I'm not moving.
Okay.
Right? In the driver's seat, it doesn't feel dangerous. I'm in total control. I know what I'm doing. Perfect.
That's facts.
I've been Ubering for the past couple months. 80 in the passenger seat is very different than 80 in the driver's seat. So
you on your phone?
Mind you, I'll tell you this right now. The cars that do 80 with passengers inside an Uber, they don't have one of these. So you just solidly put your seatbelt on and stuff like that. And you just make sure it don't click loud enough to let him know that you scared in the back. But I can only imagine, like, to him, he's like, I'm in total control of this jet ski. But only thing that the person in the back is catching whiplash.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So even the vision of someone that's in the passenger seat, like, it's 80 in the passenger seat is totally different than 80 in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
So that's why you need that reassurance. That don't mean like while I'm doing 100 miles per hour, I'm gonna touch a leg like you good? Okay, you know what I mean? It's like I can totally understand. And I would say for me, the only thing that is probably a challenge, probably early on for my marriage, is I see signs of what I used to do early in my relationships with my lady. And it's a good sign, but it leads to bad results. So anything, because she wants to make sure it's and perfect, when I say perfect, I don't mean perfect, but let's just say healthy. Because she wants a healthy marriage so much, because she wants a healthy marriage so much, she wants to talk about everything, right? And that's how I used to be when I first started getting to serious relationships when I was younger. Yeah. But what happens is you wear that person out, and you kind of suffocate by trying to hold on to something tight. You suffocate it. It was some issue that she did that I ain't like, but it was nothing that I needed to talk about. I just needed not even time. Like, I ain't like that. You get what I'm saying? And I was over it. But you making me want to revisit something that's so minor, something that I won't even hold to your case. But it's like, we got to talk about everything. And I'm like, I'm not the type that I need to talk about everything. I feel like I am a mature communicator to where if there is something that needs to be talked about, you got to trust me to be like, we got to talk about this. That I'm not going to put it on the back burner. But like eating my food, and this is not what she did, but I'm just saying eating my food when I was looking forward to it is not, that doesn't hold weight to me. I don't need to call a meeting for that. You get what I'm saying? Most thing you probably gonna get out of me is, you ate my food? Why? You got all this food in here. And then that's it. like that. Like, and then I'm off it because now I'm looking for food for me to eat. That's not a moment of, when you ate my food, that lets me know you did not care about me, or like I don't need that for this. You know, that's the only thing so far. And I think that's just a rookie mistake when when it's new and it's fresh and you want it to work, you kind of like hold on to it tight. Yeah. And then when you let go, you got imprints on your hand and stuff. You're just choking me out with talks. I'm just like, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm very good. But you know, it's a good problem to have, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you know, to your point, I think having those, I guess, gauging the situation with the level of seriousness that it requires. Okay, if everything is a level 10, then it's like eventually you stop believing that these things are level 10s when at level 10 really shows up, because it's like, oh, we talking about this again? Bro, you spent all my money in my bank. Like, oh my gosh, everything's a situation with you. And then, but it's like, that's a real situation, right? But you know, I think one thing, and I think I can't speak for our other friends, but one thing that I could respect about y'all relationship is that there's growth always.
Of course.
Like, I never seen you guys in the same position. Like, even when we are out now, I don't know any other couple I seen have each other's back, or she has your back. Like, I never, and you know, I remember back in the day, it would be me and her against you.
I used to hate those days.
But now it's like, you say something, she follow up like, yeah, I'm with Chris. I don't want, and so just seeing that in itself.
I also need to grow in this department too, right? I don't know how to take compliments. I don't look for compliments.
You've been saying that for a while.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a while. It haven't changed, right? Mm-hmm. So one thing that she does, we went to her brother's. We went to her nephew's birthday party yesterday, right? So her aunt came through. They basically said, "So how are the newlyweds?" And Blair, she said how she's doing and things like that. And they got to me and they said, "What's going on with you, Chris?" I said, "Nothing new. I mean, things are good." She was like, "No, Chris is doing this. Chris is doing that." I don't like that. I'm not used to it. So it's not so much that I hate it, but I feel like if I say like everything's the same, nothing new, no complaints, she'd be like, "No, Chris is doing this. He's growing the channel. He's doing the podcast. He's doing like she." I guess, and at the end of it, her aunt was like, "That's right. Go ahead and support your man and stuff like that." I'm not used to like compliments like that. I'm very like, "Oh yeah, ain't nothing new." Like I'm like, once I have a victory, you will know. But just like what my everyday activity, I'm not really into like giving details by it.
I feel you though. Same way.
I'm like,
hey.
I'm like,
you don't gotta talk about that.
I'm like, especially if I say I'm good and things like that. She's like, "Oh no, Chris is this." I'm like, "Okay." I'm back at school. You know what I mean? Thanks, Mom. Like, you know what I mean?
He got straight A's.
Yeah,
or it's not even straight A's. Like, I be feeling like, yeah, he got a couple C's. But he got a B in this class. Like, you ain't got it. You ain't got.
I'm like, trust me, I'm really good. I don't need to be built up or anything like that. Man. But no, man, it's gonna be fun. I actually think you need to. I think it needs to be backwards in like some fashion. You know how some people say you need to talk to some people who have years and years of experience in marriage? I think you also got to balance that out with talking to newlyweds too. So because some people who've been married for a long time, they probably, I'm not going to say they're going to reverse engineer the problem, but they may be so beyond the problem.
No, you're right.
That they just be like, "Man, I ain't deal with that in 20, 30 years and stuff like that." Compared to if you have a newlywed friend or like a newlywed couple that y'all can grow off each other. I'll give you a perfect example. My nephew, the one that had a birthday party, he started walking earlier than he was supposed to. So he's walking now. Yeah. But he's only walking because his daycare, all the kids in that daycare walk. And things like that. And he's the youngest one. So it's just being in that environment, it helped him grow. Yeah. It helped him do something that he probably wouldn't do
even with all these adults.
Exactly. So I'm like, he needed someone that was closer to his level that's walking while he looking around and probably want to run around and things like that. He needed someone small. So I think one thing that will help a new couple or a new couple that want to get married and things like that, you got to be around new couples as well as some wisdom. Yeah. You need the new couples to be like, okay, these are the problems I have, and you need the old couples to give you the wisdom to avoid the problems you don't have to go through. And then also to prepare you for the problems that is just curated for you. Trust me, there's going to be some problems in your relationship that will only fit your build. You get what I'm saying? The same for mine. You know what I'm saying? I feel like my girl love me too much. I feel like that's I'm probably going to have a talk with her like, "Hey, before we get out the car, right? You ain't gotta let everybody know everything." I know you're happy for me and things like that, but if I don't share it, you don't share it, okay? And then that turns into, why don't you want to share it? And then that's when we just gotta talk, you know? No, like some things I just don't like. She's a she comes from a family thing. I don't come from the family thing. Even though like I'm close with my immediate family, we don't really. Look, if I'm going to brag, I want to brag about something like big. You know what I'm saying? Kind of to your point of if you're always bragging about little stuff, like the big stuff ain't going to mean anything. Because we always having a party whenever you have a promotion. Like, let's have a party when you cross a certain tax bracket. You know what I mean? Besides you just like, hey, Chris is employee of the month this month. It's like, nah, we ain't going to celebrate that. You know? Anything else that crossed your mind throughout this ring buying process and things like that?
Nah, man. Yeah, I think either it seems like there's two approaches. Either you keep it simple, you learn your person in this stage of just being as a couple, or what me and my current girlfriend are doing. We've been reading books, going to connection groups.
That's smart though.
I hope.
No, it's smart. It's like get as much knowledge as you can, so you can. It's better to have and not need.
Yeah.
Than need and not have. You know what I'm saying? So everything you're going through, you're not going to use 90% of it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a book. You read the book, it's 20 chapters, you only connected 2 of them. You're like, well, that was a good book. Well, you disregarded 18 chapters. You get what I'm saying? But hey, the 2 chapters that I needed, I got. So
I think what it also does, it gives us a space to have a shared language. 'Cause I think a lot of times we have different definitions of things. Like even what's a boundary? Like for some certain people, a boundary means, oh, you're not allowed to do things in this relationship. For other people, a boundary means if you do something, I'm going to either react or not
okay,
react.
okay.
So it's like reading these books or going to these classes or courses or connection groups or watching these videos. One thing that we might do is watch that master class about marriage.
No, it's really good. It really was good, and it was a regular interview. It's called. He named the interview a master class on marriage, but it's not like a master class. It was such a good conversation. It's things that you learn about them, and it's just like, yo, I'm not gonna go through that because you know why? I heard you go through it, and I heard how much hell you had to go through.
Exactly.
Thank you. You know what I mean?
I think, but it builds up that shared vocabulary where it's like, okay, when I say something, it's not a miscommunication. Or when we were going through something, or like even like budgeting, right? Like we have like a set of rules that we gather through our walk through, learning about marriage that we could apply together. It's not like, why are we doing this? It's like, oh, we're doing this because, or you're setting this rule because of, oh yeah, that one course or that one book that we read that said that we should do this, and then we could have a conversation whether you want to do it or not. But it's not like, where's this coming from? So I think that's been helping a lot. But yeah, it's been a cool process so far. I'm enjoying it.
There been any changes in her and how she moving and things like that?
Not really. I think because we talk so much about future plans.
I wonder, does she like that?
I don't know.
Because
I think so.
No, because I was like, I don't see how. Truth be told, I don't see how she'd be surprised with you.
Oh yeah.
Like because you're so transparent with every move. I'm like, where would there be any room for a surprise? You know what I mean?
She's not surprised about the event. She usually is surprised about the implementation of the event.
Okay.
So the way the engagement might happen versus oh yeah, I'm probably gonna get engaged in the next couple of months.
Oh, that's okay. I was just thinking about my engagement party just the other day. Actually, me and Blair was talking about it.
Word?
Yeah, because we was when we got in the Uber because my modem died. So
it was both of you guys. I thought it was just you.
No, I actually did she want to come because since she had the surgery, she only been going to therapy house. So I was like, do you want to come with me? Because I wasn't gonna go by myself. And she was like, yeah, I want to come. And then we was in the back of the Uber, talking as if this guy is
That's one thing about not having a car.
We talking as if at first when you're not used to it, you kind of whisper.
Yeah.
But once you've been driving, once you've been Uber, you're over there tapping the chair right? You know what I mean? And so we was in the back and she was like, I really enjoyed. She really enjoyed her engagement party. And I asked her, be honest, which one did you enjoy, the wedding more or the engagement party more? Nice. And she was like, she enjoyed the wedding more. And I was like, I don't know what I enjoyed more, because the wedding was lit for it was just two different vibes, right? I said I enjoyed the engagement party because you really had no idea. I really caught you off guard. How I put it together that fast. The minute I found out she was leaving, I was like, okay, it's time to put things in action. I said, I planned all of that in less than 2 months. And then a wedding in less than 4 months.
Jeez.
So it's okay. the engagement party, I loved it for different reasons. It was more intimate. The food was better at the engagement party, and but at the wedding,
I was like, wait. I was like, that's fair because Gemma cooked the food.
Oh yeah.
I was like, and you got the food catered. I was
Yeah.
like, no, wait. But
Yeah, and then the caterer is family, so it's like, you know, I ain't trying to fit, but like,
I mean, it was still good.
my cook was better than that cook. The cake was amazing though, but the wedding was just lit. The wedding was just nice. Even after when everybody left and we were just vibing, it was just it was just two different occasions, two different feelings. So I said I think I enjoyed the wedding too more. I didn't enjoy the day after though.
Coming back to pick up the stuff.
Like you don't realize how tired you're gonna be.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be tired. Like the next day, like having to wake up early and then like basically sleeping the whole day until that night where like we went out to eat and stuff like that. Well, we went out to eat. I think you linked up with us later on, just to say hi. But I was tired the whole day, bro. I was tired the whole day, and I was like, I wasn't expecting this. I really wasn't.
Cause it wasn't just that day that you got married, right? It was like that whole week you was really like going back and forth planning.
We moved everything. Yeah, good thing you came that day before because like we should have to transform the whole house and things like that.
So it was that day, and then the day before just coming in to see things. So it was like it wasn't just a day, right? It was like
I was tired.
4 days of really getting everything together. So,
but other than that, man, Godspeed to you. You know, you got God on your side. You know.
Yeah, man.
Things gonna happen the way it's supposed to happen. You know what I mean? As long as you prepare, it stays like that.
Man.
Prepare as much as possible, then the rest is up to you know what I mean? And she better say yes. Cause
I only asked once.
That'd be wild to know that it's coming and then at the moment say no. You be like, what? You be like, well, I guess this was fun.
I still got the receipt for this.
Oh yeah, I know. I got it.
30 days.
Email it to me, and once they email it to me, I forward it to all my other emails. I ain't losing that joint. Anything else?
Nah, man.
Man, y'all be good. Blessings.